Okay, let's get this party started. Okay, great. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for attending today. My name is Rochelle Groh, and I'm a strategist for a brand and business development agency called Faust Levito. In this presentation, you'll learn a little bit about me and what I do, but my goal is for you to walk away with more of an understanding of what a brand is, why it matters, and how you can shift your brand to meet the needs of our changing marketplace. I'm aiming for this presentation to be around 10 to 15 minutes long. It's 1:30. People may have eaten lunch and may be getting a little tired, so I'm going to keep it straight and to the point, short and to the point. So, a little bit about me. I am originally from California. It's usually the first thing people notice is my very strong Geordie accent. But yeah, I'm not from England. I moved here in March of 2018. My husband's originally from the Lake District. And when we were deciding on where to live, we thought, what would be a better place? Newcastle or sunny California? So of course, we ended up in sunny Newcastle. We live in Great Park with our darling son, Oliver. When I'm not doing family things, I belong to a team that creates dynamic brands that last over time by connecting strategy, design, and culture. This is a picture of my awesome team on the right, and below is a list of our full capabilities, but for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to be focusing on brand development. So why does branding matter? Branding matters because it provides an experience. Here are some examples of a tangible brand experience, such as food packaging on the upper left, uniforms in the upper middle, and if you look down to the lower right, you'll see a bit of product merchandising. And these are all examples that we're all pretty familiar with, right? These are things we see when we walk into a store, but these are tangible brand examples. What the heck does that mean? To gain a better understanding of why branding matters, let's go over some brand basics. So let's talk about what branding is not. Number one on the left here, branding is not just a logo. A logo really means a logo type, and it's the core identifier or a symbol of a brand. We've all seen our fair share of logos, right? Number two, branding is not just a visual ID or a visual identity. A visual identity is a system of logos, fonts, and colors that bring visual consistency to the brand across tangible items like products, packaging, websites, signage, and so forth. Number four, branding is not just marketing. Marketing builds awareness of the brand and prompts sales. Each of these areas of branding are tangible in nature because we can see and touch them. I have a question, I think. Let's see. Oh, okay. It's Ashley. Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay, let me move this to the side. Okay. I'll try to keep up with questions as I'm going through. So if I don't get to it immediately, I promise I will get to it. Okay. Okay, so great. So, sorry, let me go back up. Oops. Oops. There we go. So these are all the visual things or the pretty stuff we see. I like to use the analogy of a house when I talk about brand. So this specific aspect of a brand is kind of like the paint on the walls of a house, okay? So let's talk about what branding is, or what branding also is. Branding also has intangible aspects. On the left, such as a brand experience. Branding is an entire customer experience, is an entire experience a customer has when they interact with, buy, or use products or surfaces. The brand experience should be consistent across all customer touchpoints, such as the website, business cards, customer service, the product, or even the service itself. A specific and often overlooked part of the brand experience is company culture. Is the brand fun? Does the funness bleed back into the employees? Or is funness just in the marketing? And I think I have a question. Sam, yeah, I will be able to send this to you. Yeah, no problem. Sam asked, sorry, would you be able to send the PDF afterwards as well? Yes, definitely. Okay. Number 2 in the middle. This is really important. So branding is built from a why. While it may seem people buy products or services, they're really buying the why behind the brand. And I'm going to repeat that again. While it may seem people buy products and services, they're really buying the why behind the brand. People become loyal to and talk about a brand because of the way the brand makes them feel or who they get to be with a brand. Some brands make people feel courageous. Some brands make them feel like they just got a really good deal. Some brands make them feel really cool and innovative. Brands must distinguish who they are, what they do, and why it matters. The why of a brand is kind of like a blueprint for the house that then creates a solid foundation for the visual stuff that we just talked about above. Much like a foundation of the house, this particular area of the brand are things we don't see, while like the paint on the walls of the house are things we do see. Number 3, looking at the right side here. Branding overall is a differentiator. In a world where we're all processing thousands of pieces of information from so many different sources, like our televisions, our phones, mail adverts, magazines, signs, the things our friends tell us. I mean, our brains have a lot of filtering to do, and sight is one of our strongest senses. If a brand has a strong visual identity, remember colors, fonts, and logos, it's noticed. Once a brand has a person's attention, the entire brand experience comes into play, both the tangible and the intangible. The more consistent and focused a brand is, the more trust is created with customers. So brands that are trusted over time have value, are more recognizable and memorable. This leads to brand equity. The longevity of a brand depends on customers perceiving that there is no other option. So now that we have a better understanding of what a brand is, let's see a couple of brands in action.
Okay.
Now, so now that we have a better so I'd like to preface, there is nothing right or wrong with these brands should you drive one. So here are 2 brands that we're all familiar with, Nissan and Tesla. Let's see how brand plays into their overall strategy. On the top, we have Nissan. Nissan competes on a low-cost model where branding is a plus. Most people that buy a Nissan will probably tell you that they got a great deal, rather than talking about Nissan or the car itself. Because of this, Nissan has built a let's make a deal loyalty rather than real loyalty. Buyers have become loyal to the deal and not the brand. The business succeeds by constantly offering lower prices. The result is a death spiral of offer addiction, which extracts value from the brand, weakening it over time. Their sales are volume-based and their margins are quite low. Now let's take a look at Tesla, which is on the bottom. Branding is a critical part of their strategy because it's a differentiator amongst competitors. Anyone who buys a Tesla will have a reason beyond driving. It's innovative. It saves our environment. They feel cool when they drive the car, and so on. The reason they feel this way is because their brand starts from a very strong and specific why. For a company that spends £0 on marketing, yeah, that's right, Tesla spends £0 on marketing. It's astounding to see the attention their brand gets, from their leader, Elon Musk, to the brand promise, to the design of their car, their rogue marketing efforts. It's all consistent and builds brand loyalty. So much loyalty that people reserve cars 2 years in advance of car releases. That's brand equity. Both products are cars. They both share the basic function, but brand plays a totally different role in each strategy. So at the start of this presentation, I said my goal was for you to gain a better understanding of what a brand is and why it matters. I believe we've done that so far. So let's check that off. I also want to show how we shifted our service offerings to align with a changing marketplace, but still provide an awesome brand experience for our clients. So we did a pestle analysis on the effects of COVID. And for those of you who have not heard of a pestle analysis, it allows for a company to analyze external political, economic, social, tech, legal, and environmental factors that could impact decisions made within the business. After our analysis, we started to focus on the e-learning space. One area that may be obvious as to why we have focused on the e-learning industry is because people are at home using their laptops to escape by learning, just as we're doing right this second in this presentation. But here is something that might not be so obvious. In 2007, the e-learning industry was projected to reach 229 billion pounds. Sorry, the e-learning industry was forecasted to reach 86 billion by 2015, 2007 to 2015, and it did. In 2018, before COVID hit, the e-learning industry was projected to reach 229 billion pounds by 2025. I can only assume that number is going to increase given the current climate. I don't know about you, but I certainly want a tiny slice of that billion-dollar industry. So what did we do? First, on the left, we increased our rapport with our clients. We reached out to them directly and just said, hey, how can we help you? Second, in the middle, we kicked off our journey in the e-learning space by hosting a 5-day webinar, and we taught people how to read their numbers, AKA their profit and loss sheets. I mentioned we're a brand and business development agency, and this example falls into the business development side of our brand. We're going to continue to roll out these e-learning services and, most importantly, support brands as they roll out their e-learning services rather than focus on brick and mortar physical businesses. And number 3, on the right, we broke down our services into an a la carte menu or boutique service offerings rather than trying to lock in large contracts. So now that you know what a brand is, why branding matters, and I gave you a few examples of how our brand shifted to meet our current and future marketplace, the question I want to leave you with is, what can your business do to create an impactful and compelling brand experience? Thank you very much for your time. And once again, my name's Rochelle Groh, and I'm a strategist for Faust Vito. I will leave my contact information for you in the chat box, and I'm open to any questions that you may have.
Thanks, Rochelle. Yes, if anyone's got any questions, perhaps you could drop them into the chat window and we'll get them asked. I do have one already, and it's to do with branding for SMEs. Obviously, corporates have an awful lot of money and large budgets to put into branding. How about, is it the same principle for SMEs, Rochelle?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's actually even more important for SMEs to stand out. And there's definitely some easy things to do to bring brand consistencies on a small budget to SMEs. It's, yeah, very easy.